I had changed my mindset in which I was open to receive any work opportunity that came my way, literally any opportunity that came my way. And the more that I started to accept the opportunities that came to me, the more that they started to come. And I started to get deals that were coming through, which were like a lot of money. And I was like, I don't even know if I'm qualified for this, but I'm going to say yes because I got a baby on the way.
What I love about this is that it's very different to a lot of the advice that we often hear, right? Which is you have to focus to be successful.
Yeah.
Learning to say no is one of the most amazing skills that I don't have yet. Maybe none of us have yet. So I'm curious on your perspective on that. Once you've just completely opened yourself, did you take in things that you later regretted?
I was incredibly busy at the time amongst wanting to nap and just eat a lot of carbs. But at the end of the day, I was then able to afford myself a 6-month maternity leave to look after my newborn baby. So no regrets. Absolutely none. I mean, how many times do things come to us and we're just like, I'm not ready, or I'm not qualified, or I'm too scared, or I actually don't want the responsibility of being successful. And the minute that you start to say, well, yeah, I need it.
The universe provides.
Literally.
Hello, everybody. This show has been created to inspire you to take action.
Celebrating and reframing what success looks like.
To be the best version of ourselves that we can be.
And we have incredible speakers for you tonight.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Future Females Show. I'm Susanna Kennedy, and this fabulous woman over here is Lauren Dallas.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Woo! Love it. Welcome back to the Future Female Show. You know the drill by now. This is all about celebrating incredible women, and particularly women who have reframed what success looks like and are really charting their own path in their lives. And our guest is doing exactly that.
She is, a hell yeah.
That's a hell yeah already. I love a guest that does her own hell yes.
Oh, no, me too. So pro. Gabriella Benedicte, I'm so excited to have you on this show for a gazillion reasons, which I'm going to share with you guys, by the way, as we go along. But you are a full-time creative. I don't even want to describe all of the different things that you do, because I think it's really important for you to introduce yourself. I know that you do. You're fabulous. You got this, girl. You can do it. But you do everything from cinematography to creating content to being a mother to just so many things. But I think to DJ. G-Daddy in the house is over here. But you really own being a creative. And I think that's the thing, is that your essence is a creative. You are a creator of everything that you do. So welcome to the Future Females Show. Thank you very much for having me. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good. Thank you. It's on. I literally just asked before. I was like, just make sure that it's on.
It is on. It is.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm very honored to be on the show. A little bit nervous, but I'm happy to be here.
Well, you're going to be fantastic.
Thank you.
So actually, that's such a good way to start. So I met Gabby on set, and I am not a model. I take my hat off to models. Oh my gosh. I really, really do.
She's lying. She's fantastic.
Oh no, my gosh. I am really excellent at talking, guys. If you give me a microphone, I'm like, and I can go for hours. But you make me stand in front of a camera and go look pretty, I'm just like, literally, that's me. It's terrible. It's daunting. But I was on this shoot because I have a sponsor that is amazing, and she asked me to do it. And I literally was like that. I was like, fuck. Oh. It's just horrible. Yeah. And then Gabby, who I'd kind of seen floating around, and I'd said hi before, she just came into me and she went, just stay with me. You're okay. Just stay with me. You made me feel the most comfortable I've ever felt in front of a camera without using my words ever in my entire life. And so the fact that you're feeling nervous now, I hope that we will help you to just chill and feel comfortable.
Just stay with us.
Goose
yeah,
rubber.
stay with us. Gabby, stay with me.
I'm right here with you, baby.
But on that note, tell us a little bit about yourself.
The dreaded question. Hi, I'm Gabby. Okay, so it is a dreaded question because obviously I do multiple things, and I think that when people ask me this question, it sounds like a little bit of like a list off, of like, oh, I do this and I do that or whatever. The nudge and gist of it is that I am a creative. I live and breathe photography and videography and creating content, especially for social media. That is my bread and butter. I'm obviously a mom, which I thrive off of and is the biggest gift to me. And other than that, I am an unemployed comedian and part-time DJ. And yeah, that's basically me in a nutshell.
And that is amazing. That's quite a list. We love that list.
It's such a great list. We were talking about this just now in the back, and it's like when we were both doing our degrees, there came a point where our professors, our course managers said, you need to pick a major. And I couldn't pick between these two things. And back then it was such a big deal. So I ended up having to do 2 degrees at the same time in order to have 2 things that I was interested in. But I love that quote by Osho, you are not a drop in the ocean, you are the entire ocean in a drop, right?
Yeah.
And I love that we're moving into a society that accepts that we have all these different facets.
Yeah, that should be
all
normal.
these different expressions of ourselves.
Yeah.
And I think you step into that
Yes.
really, really beautifully. I mean, I don't recognize you from here to here to here to here.
No.
You put your hats on in such an incredible way. It's like you just own that aspect of yourself to the point where Jonathan Boynton Lee, a friend of mine, posted this content creator is amazing, follow her. So I was like, okay, cool, I'll check out.
Yeah.
I was like, shit, this chick is amazing. I really like her. And then I was like, I recognize her. Who is this person? And it took me, guys, it took me a week. And I'm not really slow normally, but it took me a week before I was like, oh my God, that's Gabby, who made me feel so amazing. And tonight when you arrived, Lauren and I were like, who's that lovely lady sitting at the table? Oh my God, it's Gabby again, wearing a different hat.
I honestly, I differentiate between looking like a 10-year-old boy to looking like a mom to looking like the way that I look tonight. Can I get a hell yeah? So it's completely understandable. People are often saying to me like, oh, you look really familiar. And I tend not to say why because I'm like, is it from my DJing? Is it from my photography? Is it from my Instagram? I don't know. One of them.
But I think one of the most powerful things you can do as a woman is learn self-expression in all of those different forms. So we definitely want to celebrate that. But I mean, you shared a little bit of your background with us before now. And one of the things that I learned from that was that you had a job as a casting director and it was taking up all of your time and paying the bills, but it was incredibly stressful and maybe not allowing you to self-express through all of these different avenues. And that struck a chord with me. Before moving to South Africa, I was in Australia in like a corporate job thinking I was very fancy. And then when I visited this country once, I was like, I'm moving. And if I could pinpoint why, it's because the mentality in that corporate environment was like, you live to work. And it's a badge of honor to be working at 2 a.m., 4 a.m., just turn up in the same clothes.
Hustle culture.
Yeah, whereas here, it's very much like just work to live.
Yeah.
And I think you resemble that. So can you tell us about making that bold move and going from that, I guess, consistent job into what you do now?
I think the biggest turning point for me was really becoming a mom. I became a mom at the age of 27 years old, 26, 27 actually. And at the time I was working as a casting director and it was lovely and I loved my job and I was very good at it and I earned a lot of money at the time, but it took me away from being able to be the present mom that I wanted to be, really, because you're working early hours to late evenings, you're constantly dealing with emails, in clients and whatever, and having a small child at that time, it wasn't for me. I didn't want to live that lifestyle. And obviously, I've always been a creative since I was a kid. When I was 13, I got my first handy cam. And I started making films from that, and that was amazing. And from that, I got my scholarship to go study film. And then I dropped out, and I went to go work in the industry as a casting director because I was really passionate about performance. And that was amazing, and I enjoyed it. But then as soon as I shifted over into motherhood, I was like, no, there's so much more to life than spending it at work or in a studio. But surely there must be other ways in which you can earn the same amount of money but still living life. And I think that Cape Town culture as well is like, I mean, we work to live here. We really, really do. And so that was when I decided to make that shift over.
It's interesting because that actually was my decision when I moved to Cape Town as well. I was like, I'm tired of working, living to work. I want to work so that I can live. And Cape Town, you're right, Cape Town does that to you. It just infuses you with that ethos. But
Cape Town tourism should be paying us a
They
commission.
They really should.
Quit your job and come to Cape Town.
Just move to Cape Town. Do it now. But I must say, you shared something with me which blew my mind. And I really want to delve deep into this because I think so many women are in these really difficult situations, and it takes something massive to shift them out and go, okay, I need to really be resourceful and open my mind. How am I going to do this?
Yeah.
When you found out you were pregnant, you were single, and you had 3,000 Rand in your bank.
That's right.
And 6 months later, ladies, 6 months later, she had paid all her doctor's bills, everything else, and she had 250,000 Rand saved. What? I mean, that is like a cheers to the goddess. But seriously, how did you do that?
So I think before I fell pregnant, I was 25 when I found out I was pregnant. And I was living very much of like a young lifestyle. I would work and I would go out with friends and whatever. I wasn't really thinking about the future. Long story short, I was in a relationship. It ended, and a week later I found out I was pregnant. Right. After having a conversation with said gentleman, I've never actually spoken about this on a public platform before.
We love being the first.
He decided to not be a part of the picture. I had 3,000 Rand in my bank account, and I was like, do I do this? It's a very hectic thing. You're pregnant. You're like, can I take on another life? And I was like, well, I mean, yeah, why not? I mean, let's see where this goes. And so I spent the next 6 months working my little tush off. And I think the biggest change for me was I had changed my mindset in which I was open to receive any work opportunity that came my way, literally any opportunity that came my way. And the more that I started to accept the opportunities that came to me, the more that they started to come. And I started to get deals that were coming through, which were like a lot of money. And I was like, I don't even know if I'm qualified for this. But I'm going to say yes because I got a baby on the way. And I did, and they just kept on coming. I mean, 6 months to earn 250,000 Rand, and that's not even including the doctor's bills and setting up the nursery and, the pregnancy clothes and, like, everything. I mean, like, moms will know the amount of money that it costs to have a baby. And I think it was genuinely, it was a mindset shift. And I think that whether you're having a baby or not, if you decide to take that mindset shift and open yourself up to the opportunities that are literally waiting on your door. I mean, how many times do things come to us and we're just like, I'm not ready, or I'm not qualified, or I'm too scared, or I actually don't want the responsibility of being successful, And the minute that you start to say, well, yeah, I need it.
The universe provides.
Literally.
Like literally.
So
what I got out of that was that when you take that leap of faith, right? When you go, okay, I'm doing this. I'm scared, but I'm doing this. I'm totally doing this. And whatever comes my way, I'm going to make it work because I'm doing this no matter what. I'm all in. Then you open these doors of possibility to let yourself be supported where you weren't supported before, right? Yeah. That's what I get from it.
You're open to receiving.
Yeah.
So what I love about this is that it's very different to a lot of the advice that we often hear, right? Which is you have to focus to be successful.
Yeah.
Learning to say no is one of the most amazing skills that I don't have yet. Maybe none of us have yet. So I'm curious on your perspective on that. Once you've just completely opened yourself, did you take in things that you later regretted, or do you see it as a huge strength to have all of this diversity in your life?
No, honestly, I don't. There are none of my life experiences that I've ever had which I've regretted. And I was having this conversation earlier before, actually, and I was like, you wouldn't be the person that you are today, and you wouldn't have learned the things that you would have learned if you hadn't taken on certain things at certain times that were meant to either bring you an income or teach you a lesson. I mean, you know. So yeah, no, there's nothing that I can genuinely say that I've regretted. I was incredibly busy at the time amongst wanting to nap and just eat a lot of carbs. But at the end of the day, I was then able to afford myself a 6-month maternity leave to look after my newborn baby. So no regrets. Absolutely none.
Amazing. And I think, maybe a similar question, but our last interviewer, actually a couple of people we've spoken to today have been content creators as well. And really we've dug into the importance of staying in your niche and starting to be recognized for a thing. But as Susanna said, like, you always say that she's a chameleon.
Yeah, you
into
are.
all
You're
the
like
different
this
hats.
chameleon.
Yeah.
So how have you found that in terms of growing a following, an audience, and attracting the right opportunities?
And then also keeping your authenticity, because that's something that
Yes.
struck me straight away with
Yeah.
you, was I felt like when we connected, I was like, oh, I know her.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, oh, she's kind of there, I'm not quite sure who she is. I was like, I see you.
Yeah.
Like straight away, you
Yeah.
know, which for me is so beautiful. I love
Yeah.
that. I love when I can meet someone and it's like, there's you. I don't need to peel masks off,
Yeah.
you know?
I think that when it comes to content creation, a lot of people try to push the whole niche aspect, whereas what we should be focusing on is the human aspect. Because realistically speaking, we're all living the human experience, and that doesn't come into a niche. You're not just a woman, you're experiencing different things about being a woman, you're not just a man, etc., etc. And for me, when it comes to my content creation personally, I just try to share my own life experience. And that comes in multiple facets. You know, if it interests me, I'll share it. If it doesn't interest me, I won't share it. And people who are like-minded individuals will follow along and enjoy the journey.
Yay, hell yeah.
You know, and I think that when it comes to sticking to a niche, people are finding that, like, and I know it because I work for influencers as a job, you know. I photograph them, I do videos for them, for brand influencers and stuff like that. And the thing that I've noticed the most is that people are so scared to step out of their niche and make sure that their content looks a certain way to fit into the brand's niche, but the engagement goes down. Because let's face it, like, the people who are following you are human beings, and they can see the difference between an advert, which they no longer watch on the TV for a reason, versus somebody authentically passionate about a product.
I love that so much, and especially because there was that woman the other day who got caught drinking a glass of wine. It was some hoo-ha. And then you...
Santa Mara.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
And then you released, and I know because you're so brilliant with this, you picked up, and your team, amazing, Leah, picked up on it and were like, this is what a CEO looks like.
Yes.
And it was a collection of your life.
So Santa Marin was the PM that there was a video released of her drinking and dancing with her friends and doing like pretty sexy dance
dare
moves
she.
on the ground. Like,
How dare she live
She's
her life?
a woman.
yeah, exactly. But she got so much like backlash.
Yeah.
But then there was the start of these like really prominent women in power, a lot in Scandinavia, releasing their own photos. There was like a woman who was a high court judge drinking champagne from the bottle and sharing it on LinkedIn. I was like, this is what it's all about.
Because it's real.
Yeah.
And that's authenticity.
Exactly. Yeah. And we don't have to fit into a box.
No,
Even
we
of our own making.
That's it. We can be so many different things. We are so many different things.
We're all such individuals. Why are we trying to put ourselves into a box like everybody else?
So with that, if for our audience that are watching and our content creators themselves, because so many people are content creators that are in our audience and that are watching online as well. What would be your biggest tip? Is it to share real moments on a daily basis of who you are, what you're dealing with, never mind what your brand is? Would that be your piece of advice?
I think my biggest piece of advice would be, don't be afraid to be ugly, you know? And I mean that in the physical realm. I mean, if you look at my social media, I'm disgusting half of the time.
Your last reel, you had a moustache and a beard. But you
She's never disgusting.
You know, but I mean that on the personal level, I mean that on the physical level. Like, don't be afraid to be ugly. People relate more to that. You know, and they're going to trust you. Because they're going to be like, this person isn't actually afraid to show me their authentic self and not the Instagram authentic self.
Can I tell you how hard that is? Like, so coming from and I really am feeling for women who are battling with this, like, honestly. So coming from a place, I used to once upon a time be an actress, okay? And my agent did throw me into modeling things like the other day. And I freaking hate it, guys. I really literally hate it. But I think it's because there is a perception of how I'm supposed to look that probably I've created in my mind very much, but also society has created, right? And all these filters have created. And I am in the practice at the moment of trying not to use filters. And some days I can do it and I'm totally chilled. And other days I'm like, there's no fucking way I'm letting people see me like this. You know, it's just like, I'm sorry, I don't want to offend your eyes. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you guys get that? Like, do you have those moments, right? Everybody is nodding and saying yes for you guys at home. So
if I look tired, it's because I am.
Yes, I'm exhausted. But I have been embracing that. And there's something kind of like, I get excited about it almost. You know, I'm like, ooh, how will they respond?
Oh, me too. I get excited to show up ugly, though. We even, my team has a principle, and it's like the wow and the how. So if you're going to share the wow, then also show them, like, there was one, my lovely content creator had me in a bush at this luxury hotel changing my pants, and then, like, some of the people working there walking up behind, and I was like, that's the reality of that fancy Instagram reel you've just seen.
And people love that because it's real.
Yeah. And it's hilarious seeing someone get changed in a bush.
And we all need to laugh. I mean, like, you know.
Exactly.
And we all imperfect. And I think that's the important thing. I think that so many people have this pressure to be perfect. And they look at these accounts and they're like, oh my God, that's so perfect. But really, we're all imperfect. And one of the best healers I know, just so that you know, when she gets on the drinking train, is one of the wildest creatures I've ever encountered.
And where is she tonight?
I did actually invite her, but she's doing a healing tomorrow, so she cannot come and partake in alcohol. I know, damn, but we'll organize a night out, you know? But it's like, but people assume that if you are a healer, you have to be pure and you have to, and I get that, because I know if I'm doing any kind of channeling, healing, anything like that, I can't drink for a certain amount of time before. But that doesn't mean I don't like having a drink from time to time, you know, letting my hair down and
especially
going a little bit crazy.
Especially congrats.
Hug.
Thank you for that. So I do have a question for you, and we are, obviously the topic is lifestyle, and clearly you've created this amazing, exciting and diverse one. So my question is for you, what does success look like at this point in time?
Success for me, it's going to be really boring. Honestly, success for me is being able to live the lifestyle that I want, which includes being physical, seeing my friends, hanging out, doing the work that I absolutely love to do, and knowing that I don't have to stress about my bills at the end of the month. Just that basic freedom. I don't need like excessive things. I don't need fancy bags or whatever. Just knowing that I can be able to afford the things that I need to afford. My kid is happy and healthy. And then I'm doing things that actually feed my soul and don't make me want to not get up in the morning. And that's success for me.
I love that so much. One of the things that has always struck me about you, continually,
besides my incredibly good looks,
including your incredibly good looks, is that you are genuinely a powerful woman. Like, and I mean that. Like, you have this presence and this power, right? Seriously, she is.
Thank you.
When did you, like, you know that, though, and I know you know that because I can feel it. When did you step into that, and what do you think helped you step into that? What prompted that?
I mean, I was born a Scorpio, so...
Well, okay, the question over.
Besides that, no, it's gonna sound incredibly cheesy, but
We love
the
cheese.
minute I became a mom, genuinely, that was There's no feeling like it. Honestly, when you become a mom, you are actually no longer living for yourself specifically. You're living for another human being, and that is when you tap into a whole different kind of energy source, and it vibrates through your body. It's undescribable until you experience it. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Boyfriends, get ready. We are coming.
There's a lot of horny women coming at you.
Oh, wow. I don't think we could end on a better note than that.
It's such a pleasure chatting
Guys,
to you and
thank you so
celebrating
much.
you. You're amazing. You really are.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. I love what you represent, the multi-potentialite, a woman just not listening to all the advice we read on the memes and charting your own path. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being such a great example. Hell yeah!
Hell yeah!
And to everyone watching at home, thank you for tuning in. I'm Susanna Kennedy. This is the lovely Lauren Dallas, and we'll see you next time. Bye!